Hi, I'm Dr. Annie Weiss, licensed psychologist in the state of Kansas and a member of the Kansas State High School Activities Association Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. However, it's in my role as the Director of Mental Wellness and Sports Psychology for K-State Athletics where I get the opportunity to hear firsthand the importance of participating in high school sports. My athletes I work with talk about their opportunities at building relationships, building resilience, learning how to communicate, being a part of a team, setting goals and working toward them, and holding themselves accountable. But speaking about the relationships, you as coaches have the privilege to have very powerful and influential relationships with your athletes. And it is because of this influence where we thought as the Sports Medicine Advisory Committee that we wanted to offer some educational videos to help you feel more comfortable and confident addressing mental health issues with your athletes. And athletes are not immune to mental health struggles. We know that 35% of elite athletes suffer from some sort of mental health crisis throughout their career. We can see this with examples like Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, and other professional athletes who have been open about their mental health struggles. And in the younger ages, the ages that you all work with, we know that 40% of children and teenagers struggle with anxiety disorder, and that suicide is the second leading cause of death for folks aged 10 to 24. It's not hard to imagine why this might be happening with this population. What we know about brain development has a major key in the mental well-being of our athletes. Until the age of 11 for girls and 14 for boys, the brain is still maturing and growing. And it's not until age 24 for young women and 26 for young men that the brain stops developing completely. So during this period of time in their life, when you have them and you're coaching them, we know that the prefrontal cortex is the slowest part of the brain to develop. It develops later. So what that means is your athletes are being driven and guided and regulated by their amygdala. And I know this is a bit of a biology lesson here, but the amygdala is the old part of the brain, and that's basically a survival instinct. So these athletes of yours are maybe looking for threats and just trying to do the best they can day to day to survive. Prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that helps folks think through their decisions, manage their emotions, engage in distress tolerance, emotion regulation, decision making, and to plan for their future. So you're working with a group of young teens and adolescents that don't yet have these abilities. And you can see that when we see athletes react really strongly to stressors that we might not think are that big of a deal. It's because of this brain development stage that they're in. And I think that's important for you to know as you're engaging with these young folks, that they might not think the way we do, and they might not think and make decisions the way we would want them to. And at the same time, they're doing the best they can. And yet, we know that sports can create a great deal of protection against mental health concerns. It provides a system where the athlete can join a team, can hold themselves accountable, can learn from the coach about how to handle adversity, how to build resilience. They get physical activity, which is so important to helping our mental health. And for some sports, they're in the sunlight and in nature, engaging in that way, which is good for the immune system and our overall stress. Other protective factors for folks can include a strong cultural or spiritual connection to help them manage hard times in their lives. And of course, access to mental health care creates a large protection against mental health concerns. Now, however, there are some risk factors involved in participating in sports. This can include increased pressure from themselves, from parents, from coaches. It could increase their overall stress. It increases their time demands, so when they might have time for themselves, they're spending several hours a day at times engaging in their sport. Other risk factors for this population include access to weapons, prior suicide attempts, knowing someone who has committed suicide, and experiencing a history of trauma or discrimination. So it's important to you all as important and influential figures in these athletes' lives, just to understand these risks and protective factors that exist in the lives of your athletes. So if you can recognize the risk factors, you can become involved and to provide support and help build up those protective factors to help them better able to manage those stressors when they occur. I would also suggest using the opportunity for practice time to help teach these young athletes some really crucial and critical coping strategies that they can use throughout the course of their life. This could include incorporating mindfulness practice each day as you have them. It could include practicing gratitude, teaching your athletes how to form a growth mindset that keeps them motivated and energized and focused on their goals, even when they face, and especially when they face, adversity.